Hi everyone, welcome to the Coach's Clinic. My name's Kyle. I'm a personal trainer here at Golden Home Fitness, and today I'm going to be talking about split routines. So if you've been following me for the last couple of months, I've been talking about a lot of different ways to exercise, ways to organize your routines for your workouts, number of sets, how many reps, and all that. So this is a little bit of a continuation upon that. So a split routine is a very common, especially for bodybuilders, and so it will, but it can definitely benefit just about anyone. And there are many ways to reorganize your routine. So excuse me, I've got my phone. I couldn't print out my notes here, so I will be looking down at my phone. So if you see me looking down, it's just looking at my notes. So the most common one split routine is doing a month or a body parts uh, for each day of the week. So let's say you on Monday you decide to do leg day, on Tuesday you do shoulders, Wednesday you do back, Thursday you do arms, Friday you do chest, and then Saturday and Sunday you take a rest. So that's a split routine where each day of the week is a specific body part that you work out. There's some great advantages to this where you can really focus, take your time, and really work those muscles in that area as much as you can, and then following week, you take a rest from those areas for the most part. There will be times where you will be working a certain area where it will be you'll have to use other muscles. So, for example, I mentioned you can do an arm day, and then the following day is a chest day. But when you're working your chest, you will be working your triceps a lot. So if you're doing your arms, you're working your triceps, biceps, maybe your forearm, but when you're doing a chest exercise, most likely you'll be using your triceps a lot. So even though it's a secondary muscle for doing, say, bench presses, you'll still be using it. So even back-to-back days, you still might still be using those muscles. And another disadvantage you might have for splitting up each day of the week to being a specific body part is that then you won't be using or really working that area for a full 7 days. So of course, rest is very important, but then if there's too much rest, you might take a step back. So there are definitely advantages being able to do this 5 day split compared to maybe another way to do exercise, but then there are also disadvantages as well. The next thing I want to talk about is maybe do the exact opposite. Maybe some people might not call this a split routine. Some people might call it a split routine is doing a full body workout. So this is definitely the most, I would say, probably the most basic area of exercise where let's say you do a full body workout 3 times a week. You can do it Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. So on those exercises, an advantage is that you are working all your body parts. You have those rests. So you have those rests Tuesday, Thursday, and 2 full day rests on the weekends, if that's the path you want to choose while exercising. Uh, Advantage is that you will be able to work out your whole body. Disadvantage is it is probably a bit more time consuming to spend 1 full day of exercise spot on your full body. So it might take a really long time, or you might not hit each of major muscle groups a whole lot. So you won't really build up muscle if you're not using it quite enough. Good advantage though is if you are starting out, it is an excellent way to begin because you won't be overload your muscles too much. You won't be overtraining those muscles. So at the beginning, if you're just starting out to exercise, probably doing a full body exercise a few days a week is probably exactly what you're looking for and what you need. And then there are different ways to split up the routine. And that was, for example, that was just a 3 day routine, doing a full body, 3 days a week, whatever 3 days you want to pick. Let's then move on to like a 4 day exercise program where you could do upper body, lower body split. So an upper body, lower body split is day one. Let's just start with Monday. You're just working out your upper body. So you're working your chest, your back, your biceps, your shoulders, or whatever you want to work out on the upper body. And then day two, Tuesdays, will be your lower body. So, of course, just your legs, your quads, your hamstrings, glutes, uh, your calves, and that would be day two. Day three will be your rest. And then you can repeat that where that rest day will be Wednesday. Thursday, go right back at it where it's upper body. Friday, lower body again. And Saturday, Sunday, 2 days rest. That's actually kind of similar to how I exercise. There's a little bit of variation of that, but it gets your rest. You get a couple days rest from, let's say you do your upper body first, you get a couple days rest before you go back up to your upper body. So you're really able to work that area while getting that rest. And it's not like a full body where you can spend a bit more time on that area of your body. So you can strengthen, uh, increase endurance, power, build muscle, whatever your goals might be. And then a very similar split to that is the push pull leg split, where pushing, when I'm talking about pushing, is so a lot of bench press, that's a push. Shoulder press is a push. Any kind of put where you're pushing away from you. You could be pushing the weights away from you, or you could be pushing your body away from an object. So, example, a push up is a pushing. It's right in the name there. And then there are pulling exercises where you're pulling things towards you, like rows are pulling. So you pull the weight up towards you. There's a lot of machines where you pull ups, pull up on a bar. So you can pull your body up, or you can pull heavier resistance towards you. So that is a pull. So you can do Monday, you do push. Tuesday, you do pull. Wednesday, you do legs. And then Friday, you take, excuse me, got lost track of the days. Thursday, you take a rest, and then you can repeat that however many days you want, or since it would be in a week, it would be three, and a rest day. So you can do maybe a push, pull legs, then a rest day on Sunday or whatever day week best fits your schedule, if that is the path you are looking for. So again, you get a little bit more rest on each area that you're working on. And when you're doing pushing and pulling, it is doing the opposite muscle groups. So even though your upper body, you are pushing, and then you do upper body again, you're doing opposite muscle groups. So when you're doing a pushing, you're working a lot on your chest and your triceps. And when you're doing a pulling movement, you're working a lot of your back and your biceps. And then shoulder could be either way for one. That's as a major muscle group. A lot of time it is pushing, but sometimes you can activate your shoulder doing a pulling movement. So it is very many. There are many different ways to change up these schedules, as you can tell. And then you can do a 4-day split where you exercise 4 days a week, rest three others. So what you can do is, I've been talking a lot about the pushing pulling movements. So instead of just thinking specifically about that, thinking about the muscle groups in the most common pushing pulling. So as I mentioned, when you are pushing, what works majority is of your chest, while it is a little bit of your triceps. So you can make that day one, Monday. Pulling, so it is your back with your biceps. And then you can do a leg day. And then, as I mentioned before, shoulders can be a little bit different depending on the movement. So maybe that is day four that you want to include in your week routine, where it's going to be the shoulders for one specific day. Those are 4 days, and then take rests in between whichever days you prefer. So it does focus a lot on each body part. You get the rest that you need, and you are able to move on to the next area while taking that rest, while working your entire body. And then another 4-day split is even more a lot more specific on the pushing and pulling movements. So let's say on day one, you do a upper body push. Day two, you do a lower body pull. So I talked a lot about already the pushing pulling movements on how it is different muscle groups in your upper body. And you can do the same thing with your legs as well. So everything I've already spoke about, and if you want to spend more time on your legs, you can, instead of doing splitting up your upper body push pull, you can do lower body push pull while doing one upper body, less intensive upper body exercising. So for a lower body push, it's so it would be a squat is a big lower body push, and then a lower body pull would be a lot more of trying to get your hips forward, so it works your hamstrings and glutes a lot more, as pressing works your quadriceps a lot more. So a deadlift would be a good lower body pull, bridges, very similar activities to that. So as I mentioned with the upper body push and pull, there's different muscle groups that primarily are used during those movements. Same thing can be said with the legs, where your quad are a majority of the pressing movement of the lower body, as your hamstring and glutes are a lot more used for pulling movements, if that's how you want to think about splitting up the routine. So going back to what I was saying, doing a 4-day split of you do your upper body push, lower body pull, upper body pull, then lower body push. So you can split up each day doing a different movement while also adjusting if you're working upper body and lower body. So again, you take a lot of rest from different areas of the week, and then you're able to move on to the next exercise without next uh, muscle group for the following day. And so, like I said, there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages to all of these. You can adjust them as much as you want. And also, when you're breaking them down, your exercise routine a little bit more, you can spend more volume and rest because you're not working as many exercises in there. So it's definitely a time saver if that's what you're looking for. But of course, you're going to be spending more days of the week exercising. So I didn't really mention much with the cardio and core, which you can certainly add in wherever you want to add these into your split routine. So core is very important. Most exercises you do, you will be using your core at least a little bit, trying to keep your back nice and straight. So there is always an aspect of core exercise in each day. It's just not going to be your primary muscles or even secondary. It's more of a stabilizer of your body. But if you want to work core exercise and being the main focus of the exercises, you can certainly add into everything I've mentioned. You can add it in wherever you want. There's just so many different ways you can change your exercise. So it is great to be able to practice, be able to test things out, see which way works best for you. Because what works best for one person might not work best for another person. That could be for genetics, where you're at in your level of athleticism, or just your time management can be very difficult. Like I mentioned with the full body exercises, uh, it, those 3 days can take a lot of time, or you can make it into a circuit training. So it will cut down on the time that you spend working out on those days, and it can be very beneficial for you to be able to go through all those exercises, saving some time, and be able to take that rest in between days. And if you caught my class, it was a couple months ago, I talked about training for endurance, training for hypertrophy or building of your muscles, strength, and power. Every split routine that I just discussed, you can train for any of those types of training methods or whatever your goals might be. Just some split routines might work better for other goals. So if you are training for endurance and you want to be able to exercise for longer, one split routine might not work best for another one. But and then vice versa, it depends on what your goals might be. But that's kind of the fun of it, where you're able to move around, change how you're working out, and being able to adjust your routine to fit whatever you are looking to achieve. Yes, so if you have any further questions about any of these, I think that's all the notes I have on split routines. There are so many different ways to do it. I just gave you some random days of the week. You can adjust it to however you want to adjust your routine because of your schedule, because of what your goals are, just because of who you are. You can play around with it and be able to find whatever best fits for you or things that you just need to work on. But if you need any help or trying to narrow it down, because that is a lot of different ways in a week you can exercise, feel free to reach out to us. We can certainly assist you on being able to help you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope I'll see you next time.